Everyone, this is Andy again. Just wanted to do my second update for this month, and this is referring to the design system itself. With the design system, our main goal this year was to provide and create a foundations system for the design system. We're not ready to display any kind of components on the system. We're not ready to develop UI with this yet. But what's the reason for that? Because our system today, Plasma, does not have these types of conventions that are foundational for the system for any design system to be viable within it. It takes a little bit of preparation for this to happen, and we have to think very basic when it comes to this work. So what you see on the screen is various iterations of our color work. This color work took a long time, and we are basing our color system on some of the ideas the material design has around their icons, their colors, and the way they manage them. So when you translate this type of work into a system, you have to provide the developer all of the details that are necessary, all the color values, the transparency values, the naming scheme, all of those pieces need to be in place because it has to be organized. And we realized soon enough that our first iteration of our colors was not organized in a way that made a lot of sense. I mean, it made sense for web-based applications, but not for UI like the kind that we do in Plasma. So we thought that it was a better idea to mimic some of the ideas around material design when it comes to their color management and other references. So with that in mind, we developed a light and dark scheme based on these colors. As you may know, material design uses chroma as one of their color levels, and they usually split these colors, whatever color you choose to be your central color, you split it into 100 different shades of that color, from all the way to light to all the way to dark for that color. What that allows us to do is that if in the future we decide that maybe our background color just doesn't seem to have the punch that it should, we can go back to that 100 palette of colors and say, well, let's move it one little bit to the next level, from color gray 98 to color gray 97. And that is a much easier calculation than having to redo complete color palettes to get the color that you're looking for at the level that you need it. And so I wanted to just thank the team that provided this insight. It made us rethink a lot of the work, and I wanted to mention a couple of our team members with Christian and Taro, who actually took this on, and they provided all the colors that they reworked the colors to have the levels that we're using today. Then for typography, we have just no changes here. Shadows and blurs, actually we saw a change where we decided to use previously created shadow colors that were used in some of the mockups for the ocean system, the ocean mockups that we had previously, and we took them and we integrated them into this palette right here that you see in the shadows. So we have a very, it probably is imperceptible to you, but I can see it. We have our extra small, medium, large, XL, 2XL, and 3XL color shades. And I think this is a Figma issue, but it seems like our XL shadow is smaller than our large shadow. I can assure you that that's not the case on output. It's just something in the system doesn't seem to let me see this shadow properly, but it doesn't mean that the system is coded wrong. But anyway, with that in mind, we should be able to have a much more comprehensive shadow list, and also based on previous work. That is great, because this is work that was previously accepted and discussed by the community, And it was not something that was created out of the blue or something new for this design system. So I love that we can integrate work that is already being made. And this should provide various levels of shadow strength for various elements on the system. For example, 3XL is most commonly used on window shadows, whereas, for example, from extra small to medium, generally these are cards, galleries, this could be button shadows, this could be, toolbar shadows, what have you, right? And so you don't need to have this strong level of shadow into some of those things, and we want to further allow the system to have these variables so that the system developers can more easily decide what is the best use case for a shadow given the components they're working on. Now, with that said, in the future, it is also important to know that we may issue pre-made components that contain a shadow strength that we have decided on that will be like that going forward. That will remove a lot of the complexity that developers have today, which is they sometimes have to code some of these things in, try to mimic what they see in other locations in the system, and then implement that in a new place of UI. We hope that with the design system, developers can simply just take the component and move forward. They don't have to think too much. They just will work on the implementation of the awesome features they're working on. And then icons, of course, these are not our icons here. We haven't integrated them yet, but they are there. So basically, we're laying the groundwork so that we can build a design system on top of this. And we made a little change. We created this issue. With this issue, we're basically documenting the token system that we want to use, how we want to name our tokens. We documented what each of our colors means and what each of their references mean. It is not 100% complete, but it's almost there. And with this, we're basically telling the developers, please create these colors on the system, on the Plasma system. And we are detailing them here. If some of you want to take a look at them, you're welcome to as well. These are the levels, these are the stuff we want to do. And we exported these tokens in CSS. Now, Plasma does not use CSS today. It doesn't consume it in any kind of practical way for the UI, but at least CSS will be clear enough for the developers to understand what we're trying to implement. So today, developers could come here, take these files, and see where they would put them on the system. Or if maybe publishing is all that we need, then that's great. But here is this basically foundations, the design system foundations detailed on a screen at a text level. And that's our second update for this week.